The Project Gutenberg Complete Works of Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. Tales of the Far North. By Gilbert Parker. Being a continuation of the personal histories of Pierre and his people, and the last existing records of Pretty Pierre. By Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. Below the sun line. The gates of the sea. Motley is your only wear. A tale of no man's sea. The trail of the Ishmaelite. Accusing faces. Mummers all. The wheel comes full circle. A bridge of peril. The progress of the suns. Between day and dark. The slope of the Pacific. Among the hills of God. The whirligig of time. The song of the saw. The path of the eagle. In the trough of the winds. A duel in Arcady. Riding the reefs. The strings of destiny. The sentence. After the storm. In port. By Gilbert Parker. The choosing of the messenger. Rest at the Kungat Bridge an hour. The code of the hills. By the old well of Jahar. Choose ye whom ye will serve. Concerning the daughter of Kushnin D. The Red Plague. The choosing of the Deccan. The prophet of peace. The story of a lost Napoleon. By Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. His great mistake. A difficult situation. Out of the north. In the name of the family. An awkward half-hour. The passing of the years. A court-martial. To every man his hour. The faith of comrades. Thou knowest the secrets of our hearts. Upon the highway. The chase of the yellow swan. A living poem. On the edge of a future. The end of the trail. By Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. One in search of a kingdom. In which he claims his own. He tells the story of his life. An hour with his father's past. Wherein he finds his enemy. Which tells of strange encounters. Wherein the seal of his heritage is set. He answers an awkward question. He finds new sponsors. He comes to the waking of the fire. He makes a gallant conquest. He stands between two worlds. He journeys afar. In which the past is repeated. Wherein is seen the old Adam and the garden. Wherein love knows no law save the man's will. The man and the woman face the intolerable. Return, O Shulamite! By Gilbert Parker. Being the memoirs of Captain Robert Moray, sometime an officer in the Virginia Regiment, and afterwards of Amherst's Regiment. By Gilbert Parker. An escort to the Citadel. The master of the King's Magazine. The wager and the sword. The rat in the trap. The device of the dormouse. Moray tells the story of his life. Quoth little Geraint, as vain as Absalom. A little concerning the Chevalier de la Darante, an officer of Marines. The coming of Doltaire. The point and venom too. A little Bose. Argand Cornel. In the chamber of torture. Be saint or imp. Through the bars of the cage. The steep path of conquest. A danseuse and the Bastille. Upon the ramparts. La Jongleuse. The Lord of Camarska. With Wolfe at Montmorency. The sacred countersign. In the cathedral. The secret of the tapestry. A side wind of revenge. To cheat the devil yet. Master Devil, Doltaire. Where all the lovers can hide. A romance of two kingdoms. By Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. The return of Madelinette. When the redcoats came. Man to man and steel to steel. Madelinette makes a discovery. What will she do with it? The one who saw. The pursuit. Face to face. The biter bitten. The door that would not open. By Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. The way to the verdict. What came of the trial? After 5 years. Charlie makes a discovery. The woman in heliotrope. The wind and the shorn lamb. Peace, peace, and there is no peace. The cost of the ornament. Old debts for new. The way in and the way out. The raising of the curtain. The coming of Rosalie. How Charlie went adventuring and what he found. Rosalie, Charlie, and the man the widow Plomondon jilted. The mark in the paper. Madame Dauphin has a mission. The tailor makes a midnight foray. The stealing of the cross. The sign from heaven. The return of the tailor. The cure has an inspiration. The woman who saw. The woman who did not tell. The seigneur takes a hand in the game. The colonel tells his story. A song, a bottle, and a ghost. Out on the old trail. The seigneur gives a warning. The wild ride. Rosalie warns Charlie. Charlie stands at bay. Joe Portuguese tells a story. The edge of life. An ambush. The coming of Maximilien Coeur and another. Barriers swept away. The challenge of Paulette Dubois. The cure and the seigneur visit the tailor. The Scarlet Woman. As it was in the beginning. It was Michaelmas Day. A trial and a verdict. Joe Portuguese tells a story. Who was Kathleen? 6 months go by. The forgotten man. One was taken and the other left. Where the tree of life is blooming. The open gate. The passion play at Chaudière. Face to face. The coming of Billy. The seigneur and the cure have a suspicion. Rossignol slips the leash. Rosalie plays a part. Mrs. Flynn speaks. A burning fiery furnace. With his back to the wall. In which Charlie meets a stranger. The hand at the door. The cure speaks. A ladder of swords. By Gilbert Parker. 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 As the spirit moved. The gates of the world. Banished. The call. The wider way. Hast thou never killed a man? The compact. For his soul's sake and the land's sake. The letter, the night, and the woman. The four who knew. Against the hour of midnight. The jihad and the lions. Achmet the ropemaker strikes. Beyond the pale. Soulsby's hand upon the curtain. The debt and the accounting. The woman of the crossroads. Time, the idol breaker. Sharper than a sword. Each after his own order. There is nothing hidden which shall not be revealed. As in a glass darkly. The tense of cushion. The questioner. The voice through the door. I owe you nothing. The awakening. Nahum turns the screw. The recoil. Lacey moves. The struggle in the desert. 40 stripes save one. The dark indenture. Nahum drops the mask. Claridge Pasha. The flight of the wounded. Is it always so, in life? The flying shuttle. Jasper Kimber speaks. Faith journeys to London. Halda seeks Nahum. In the land of Shinar. The loom of destiny. By Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. By Gilbert Parker. The Grand Tour of Jean-Jacques Barbil. The rest of the story tomorrow. Tomorrow. 13 years after, clerk of the court tells a story. The clerk of the court ends his story. Jean-Jacques had had a great day. Jean-Jacques awakes from sleep. The gate in the wall. Moi suis philosophe. Quien sabe? Who knows? The clerk of the court keeps a promise. The master carpenter has a problem. The man from outside. I do not want to go. Bon Marquet. Misfortunes come not singly. His greatest asset. Jean-Jacques has an offer. Sebastian Dolores does not sleep. Au revoir, Monsieur Jean-Jacques. If she had known in time. Bells of memory. Jean-Jacques has work to do. Jean-Jacques encamped. What would you have done? By Gilbert Parker. The Druzes are up. The whisper from beyond. Concerning Ingalby and the two towns. The coming of Jethro Fall. By the river Starska, it was so done. The unguarded fires. In which the prisoner goes free. The Sultan. Matter and mind and two men. For luck. The sentence of the patron. Let there be light. The chain of the past. Such things may not be. The woman from Wind River. The mayor fills an office. The Monsignor and the nomad. The beacons. The keeper of the bridge. 2 life pieces. The snare of the fowler. The secret man. The return of Belisarius. At long last. Man proposes. The sleeper. The world for sale. being the story of a matrimonial deserter. By Gilbert Parker. Pioneers, oh pioneers! Closing the doors. The Logan trial, and what came of it. Strength shall be given thee. A story to be told. Here in death the first lesson. A woman's way to knowledge. All about an unopened letter. Night shade and morning glory. SOS. In the camp of the deserter. At the receipt of custom. Kitty speaks her mind again. Awaiting the verdict. Male and female created he them. 'Twas for your pleasure you came here. Who would have thought it? By Gilbert Parker. The Nazarenes take possession. My name is Louise. I have fought with beasts at Ephesus. Two sides to a bargain. Orlando has an adventure. Things must happen. The zoological garden. The oriental way of it. The stars in their courses. The moon was not alone. Louise. Man unnatural. Orlando gives a warning. Filion and Fiona, also Patsy Kernaghan. Outward bound. The cross trails. The superior man. Youth has its way. By Gilbert Parker. The two meet. The coming of a messenger. The quarrel. The duel. The killing of Eris Boyne. Dyke in prison. Mother and daughter. Dyke's father visits him. A letter from Sheila. Dyke Calhoun enters the world again. Whither now? The hour before the mutiny. To the West Indies. In the nick of time. The Admiral has his say. A letter. Strangers arrive. At Salem. Lord Mallow intervenes. Out of the hands of the Philistines. The clash of race. Sheila has her say. The coming of Noreen. With the governor. Then what happened? By Gilbert Parker. In the days of childhood. 11 years pass. Karnak's return. The house on the hill. Karnak as manager. Luke Tarbo has an offer. At our price? John Grier makes another offer. The puzzle. Denzel tells his story. Karnak's talk with his mother. Karnak says goodbye. Karnak's return. The house of the three trees. Karnak and Unia. John Grier makes a journey. The reading of the will. A great decision. Karnak becomes a candidate. Unia and Tarbo hear the news. The secret meeting. Point to point. The man who would not. The blue paper. Denzel takes a hand in the game. The challenge. Exit. A woman writes a letter. Carnal and his mother. Tarbo has a dream. This way home. Halves, partner, halves. General introduction. With each volume of this subscription edition, 1912, there is a special introduction, setting forth, in so far as seemed possible, the relation of each work to myself, to its companion works, and to the scheme of my literary life. Only one or two things, therefore, need be said here, as I wish Godspeed to this edition, which, I trust, may help to make old friends warmer friends and new friends more understanding. Most of the novels and most of the short stories were suggested by incidents or characters which I had known, had heard of intimately, or, as in the case of the historical novels, had discovered in the works of historians. In no case are the main characters drawn absolutely from life. They are not portraits, and the proof of that is that no one has ever been able to identify, absolutely, any single character in these books. Indeed, it would be impossible for me to restrict myself to actual portraiture. It is trite to say that photography is not art, and photography has no charm for the artist, or the humanitarian indeed, in the portrayal of life. At its best it is only an exhibition of outer formal characteristics, idiosyncrasies, and contours. Freedom is the first essential of the artistic mind. As will be noticed in the introductions and original notes to several of these volumes, it is stated that they possess anachronisms, that they are not portraits of people living or dead, and that they only assume to be in harmony with the spirit of men and times and things. Perhaps in the first few pages of The Right-of-Way portraiture is more nearly reached than in any other of these books, but it was only the nucleus, if I may say so, of a larger development which the original Charlie Steele never attained. In the novel he grew to represent infinitely more than the original ever represented in his short life. That would not be strange when it is remembered that the germ of the right-of-way was growing in my mind over a long period of years, and it must necessarily have developed into a larger conception than the original character could have suggested. The same may be said of the chief characters in The Weavers. The story of the two brothers, David Claridge and Lord Eglinton, in that book was brewing in my mind for quite 15 years, and the main incidents and characters of other novels in this edition had the same slow growth. My forthcoming novel, called The Judgment House, had been in my mind for nearly 20 years and only emerged when it was full grown, as it were, when I was so familiar with the characters that they seemed as real in all ways as though they were absolute people and incidents of one's own experience. Little more need be said. In outward form the publishers have made this edition beautiful. I should be ill-content if there was not also an element of beauty in the work of the author. To my mind, truth alone is not sufficient. Every work of art, no matter how primitive in conception, how tragic or how painful, or even how grotesque in design, like the gargoyles on Notre Dame, must have, too, the elements of beauty, that which lures and holds, the durable and delightful thing. I have a hope that these books of mine, as faithful to life as I could make them, have also been touched here and there by the staff of beauty. Otherwise their day will be short indeed, and I should wish for them a day a little longer at least than my day in span. I launch the ship. May it visit many a port! May its freight never lie neglected on the quays,